How to sharpen a knife using a strop. Well, first of all, you either buy or make a strop. Very easy. All this is a piece of leather with the rough side uppermost, and it's glued with contact adhesive to a flat piece of wood. In this case, a piece of plywood. To speed the process up, I use a cutting compound or a polishing paste. In this case, just a cheap paste I bought from my local hardware store. You could use Solver Watersol. I've even heard that you can use toothpaste or jeweler's rouge, and then apply some of the paste to the leather like that, and then I start generally just spread it around a little bit. Just load up the strop. As you work it, it will load the strop anyway. And I start at the tip and I find the bevel, where the bevel, I rock it so that the bevel sits flush on the leather, and then backward with the sharp edge facing away, otherwise you'll cut into your strop. Hit to the heel, back down, and I might just manage to do that bit again. Then reverse it, making sure you hold that bevel all the time, and you'll notice after a while it starts to glide smoother and smoother across the leather as the bevel gets polished. But it's important all the time, I must stress that all the time you must find that bevel angle, like that. I'll just show you a close-up of finding that bevel angle. It's like that, you see, where the shadow disappears, you're on your bevel. So you rock the knife till you're on that bevel. As you come around to the tip of the knife, you might just have to lift the knife up a little bit to keep it. I don't know if you can see that. And then slightly on that bevel. Also, it may also help by lifting the strop a little bit. I prefer working at a slight angle sometimes, so just lift that strop up like that. And if you've got a certain part of the blade which requires a bit more attention, sometimes back here, you can just concentrate on that area a little bit. And once I've done that a few times, it doesn't need that many times really, I'll very lightly just slightly go over the angle, just by a fraction, and very lightly just draw the knife back. And what that does, that puts a very minute micro bevel on the cutting edge itself, and that makes the cutting edge just that bit more durable and literally just a few passes, using literally the weight of the knife itself. And again, applying the micro bevel, just go to where you lock the bevel, and just slightly, a couple of degrees more, very light pressure. And the same the other way. Now I'll just clean the blade up with a piece of kitchen cloth or paper. Always work away. Especially when on that bevel, always work away, because we're dealing with a very sharp edge. And then you've all seen it. Paper cutting test. So start at the back of the blade. And I'm looking for any little notches that might cause the blade to snag. If you've got a slight notch in the cutting edge, that will cause the blade to snag. And also you want it to cut fairly quiet, so you can hear that that's slicing that paper quite quietly. And you can even get very fine paper curls. Sometimes if you've used the knife hard and you've hit some knots, you might put a little chip in the blade. Unlikely though, in which case you may have to use a different sharpening technique before you use the strop. The strop is the last process that you use, but I find that for most of the times when my knives become dull, all they need is a strop, and by using a strop you're also removing minimal metal from the knife, so therefore your knife's going to last a lot longer as well. So always use a strop, and if you've got any nicks in the blade, then use stones or another method to take those dull spots out before you then go on to the strop. I'll show you that process in a future video. After a little while of stropping, you'll have a nice sharp edge and a nice polished edge as well.